What is happening, a bunch of builders, and welcome back to the GMC Motorhome Rescue. This is a 1973 GMC motorhome that we dragged off of an abandoned piece of property. We got this thing running, we got it driving, we've gutted it, and we've been working on putting it back together. In today's episode, we're going to continue addressing some stuff on the outside here, and we're going to begin working on the inside and getting the ceiling put in. In one of our last episodes, we test fitted these aluminum wheels and they absolutely make this thing. We've decided to go up a size in wheel, and so we are going to be using the 4 wheels off of the F350, as well as we got 2 more and a really cool let that plane go by, it's gonna be super loud. And a really cool tire setup that I'm so excited to show you. I think it's gonna be awesome, and it's really gonna set this thing off. While we're back here, we get to address something else. A lot of comments about the rear suspension on this thing, and although I do dig the 4x8 blocks, it is not factory to this. These did come with a big airbag, and if you may remember from our first episode on this, we had to replace these because actually they hold air, but they look terrible, and having this thing towed home, we did not want them blowing out. Firestone, Air Ride, the problem is you cannot get these anymore. Somewhat, Firestone made that up until I think the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. You're still talking about a 20-year-old bag if you find something new old stock. So we went ahead and I did some research looking around on bags, maybe building our own blocks. The problem is the bags that you use on these are pushing $350 a piece, and so for about $800 we were able to buy a full kit we can install on this thing, and it just made more sense going about it that way. And the reason I say that is just the time and effort to make this right here would not be worth the extra $150, because there's a lot that goes into that, and we can just install these. This is just like big semi bags. These are Continental, and this should hopefully do what we need to do. Go ahead and get this 4x6 pulled out. Dad sassed me because I said it was a 4x8. That's why he does all the measurements and cutting. 6 inches looks like 8 to me, man. For the time being, until we figure out the rest of our air system, we went ahead and pulled off the supplied hookup and added the Schrader off of the original bags. They have a little T, so you have a Schrader and this, which will probably end up hooking up that way. And when it comes down to it, we definitely want to be safe. Looks like 50 PSI is about what you want to run. I don't think we want to put a bunch of air in here without the wheels on it. So I'll just get a little bit. Like we were thinking, all terrains And of course their white letter. The only thing we could find in a 225/75/16, which is the same as the original size, was this E-rated 10-ply Conforcer. Supposedly they're pretty decent tires. They ride well and they're fairly quiet. I think it'll be kind of cool. I'll put about 50 pounds in the bag. Ah! I don't know. There's about 35. And it took the jack away from us. Or it took the... What do you think, Dad? How's it look? Pretty cool. What do y'all think? Now the fronts are a little bit different wheel. Obviously, being a dually, you just have 4 wheels. Now we had 6. They're pretty close. These are Ion wheels. Only $184 a wheel, so we made a whole set for a lot cheaper. People want ridiculous money for aluminum wheels as far as those old Eagles like we have on the back here now. Love them, but can't consider affording paying for them, so this is a great option. That looks all right by me. Man, this thing is coming together. That is so cool. It seems so much bigger now. It's already a behemoth of a vehicle, sitting up a little bit with that airbag, those all-terrain tires. It's coming together. I definitely feel like in the back, Dad even mentioned we need the little T-bar that goes in between that aftermarket accessory cover. Get the wheel wells back up in the front here, and it'll really tie everything together. We went ahead and took care of those rear clearance lights so they match the fronts now. Looks so much better, so much crisper. And another thing we want to go ahead and address, there's a million holes here where they had a bunch of different locks on this thing. It doesn't look very pretty. So what do we do to clean this up and cover it up? Something I think would be nice, some kind of handle to get in here. I found this on the good old eBay. This really neat vintage style RV handle or camper handle. So it uses this plastic handle and an LED light. And then we should be able to mount that right there like so. It's gonna cover everything up and it's gonna be really, really neat. Obviously, with any kind of old motorhome or camper that you are rebuilding, there's gonna be boo-boos and boogers and stuff you need to address. And I think it's just kind of fun to go through and figure out different ways that we can fix it, repair it, while adding to the camper itself. There's a drain hole. That's the bottom. That's the top. That looks a little better. Moving up from our handle, one major issue we obviously had right here was with water coming in at the door, rotted out the whole bottom that we had to replace. No matter what you do as far as sealing and stuff goes, it's gonna continue to have leaks unless we address it with this right here from Applied. This is a nice little rain shield that we can slide up in there, put in place, screw it on, and that'll keep most of our water from pouring in at the top of the door. It's got this nice little lip, acts as a little gutter, runs it around the door so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Now it does have all these top screws, and I think you can install those with the drip rail pulled off, but I don't think at this time we're gonna do that. We'll go ahead and seal it up, slide it up underneath, because somebody had rigged something in there at one point in time anyways, and then install these 2 outer screws, and it should be a nice watertight seal. We did go ahead and clear coat it, so it's nice and is not gonna dull out or anything. More holes. Outdoor speaker. Just trying to figure out ways, because this is obviously aluminum. All the ones down the side we went through and JB welded those, drilled in just a little bit, put some JB welds so they're nice and sealed, and we can put a little touch-up paint. But all these big holes, got a nice pass-through for some speaker cables. This will cover everything up. Plus, we'll have a full indoor-outdoor surround system. Getting there. There's a lot going on, but Dad made the point, there's a lot of holes going on. So it's better to have some stuff that benefits us, like the speaker, this LED exterior light off of the camper, the handle, and it'll make this thing really neat while we're using it for trips and camping. To get the headliner back in, to get our interior in, we've got to get the clamshells in. These are in pretty poor shape. They weren't horrible. We had a really bad windstorm before we could get a hold of this one. It blew across the shop yard and busted it even more. It's not in the worst shape, but it's not great. You can buy replacements, but they're $500 a piece before shipping and handling. We don't have that kind of budget, so we've got to try to save these. We've gone ahead and started doing a little bit on the front, testing a few things, and I think fiberglass and resin is the best way to go to kind of beefing everything up, but still be somewhat flexible and hold everything together. So let's go ahead and clean this thing up. And then we're gonna take and scuff everything really good with a 60 to 80 grit to really give something for that fiberglass to bite into. And then we'll lay a little bit of fiberglass in it, and it should solidify everything. gonna go ahead and scrape these last bits of insulation here, and that's so we can go ahead and get our wiring glued back up and we can put some insulation back in its place. Well, got some extra holes now. I'm sure glad we found it at this point. I had noticed this morning we had a couple little drips up here and it was leaking around that. Sure enough, as soon as we scraped past it, boom, popped it right out of the top. So what that was is, you can see where our clearance lights are. It's like they put them in the wrong spots or something to begin with. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. And then they just gooped it up, moved on forward. That's been a leaking point, maybe this thing's whole life. So definitely good to go ahead and get that taken care of. With the harness in place, we've got some insulation stuff. This is double reflective insulation. Now the biggest thing is the R value. This stuff's a little more expensive, but it's got a really, really good R rating. And so this will be great for putting up in here. And then we have a very special adhesive. This is most commonly known as duct tape. And that'll hold it up there good and out of the way so we can install the new refurbished clamshell. What I also like about this stuff is it doesn't come across as a very nice cozy mouse home. Probably will be, because that's just how mice are, but obviously one thing we really want to do is keep mice from getting in our pretty work here. Front is back up in, and it looks and feels so good at getting interior pieces back in here. Now it's obviously not perfect, but it's there, and we saved a lot of money doing it this way. We still need to get the little speaker covers and lights installed. We had ordered some speakers, but they were the wrong ones, so probably tomorrow those will come in. We can get that installed. I want to show you what we used. We actually used this Sim Marine vinyl coat. It's a Ranger white. The biggest thing I worry about when you're painting stuff, especially interior, if you get something glossy, it looks terrible. This is nice as it lays out, and it's a satin finish, so it looks like an OEM finish. And I feel like it came out really good. The nice thing with dye is it actually soaks into that plastic or your vinyl that you're spraying it. Takes a lot of coats and you got to work it in, but it leaves a really nice durable finish when you're done. Obviously something like your seat, we did the little Rabbit pickup truck. We drive that thing 2 or 3 times a week, and we have for over a year now, and we're just now barely seeing a little hint of blue coming back through. Nothing rubs off on your butt. And so up on a headliner, as long as you keep it clean, this should last for a long time. But now that we've got that front clamshell in, we can start putting headliner back in this thing and working our way back. This is what we opted to go with. This is FRP, which is fiberglass reinforced something FRP. Yeah, it's fiberglass board stuff. So this is kind of similar to what you'd use in a bathroom. We opted to go with a gray, which is a really, really light gray. The white really, it's popular. A lot of people use it in here. The nice thing, you put it up there, you never have to touch it again. You don't have to worry about it like a cardboard or a wood material like this eventually having issues because of condensation and stuff. You put this in there, it looks pretty good. The white to me is just a little over the top. I like the gray because it doesn't quite have the sheen. Hopefully we can get it up there. It's about the same price. Let's use our old stuff as diagrams. Let's get it all cut to length, width, size. Let's stick it up in there. Now to get our front edge attached, we'll be using the stuff supplied right there at Lowe's or Home Depot. And it's this front edge. We can take it and put it up where it would have been from the factory, drill some holes, get it riveted on, and then when we slide our piece in, it'll slide right up in there. It's time we make a mess. We've got some Loctite heavy duty construction adhesive to glue up our joints. Dad made these nice little T-poles that'll kind of help hold everything up. Try to put this thing up in here. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yep, tired yet? Yeah, yeah. Okay. It went good. Okay. A little bit more. in between our joints, we'll be using this right here. We'll slide it up under our edge, then we can run some self-tapping screws. It'll hold that panel, slide over it, and do the same on our next panel. Hopefully it'll hold everything together.
It probably wipe off easier in your hand. A little short.
Huh?
Be sure it's pushed all the way.
Back here, we've gone ahead and installed our clearance lights just like the front. Got everything wired in. We need to put these up. I did go ahead and fiberglass. That little bit busted up corner was previously busted and had been hit again, so that's taken care of, so we can put everything in, and then from the outside we'll address the body work and stuff. But everything is done here. We just need to clean it up a little bit, insulate it, put the clamshell in, finish up our last little section of sealing. Make sure you take pictures. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast. Look at her. My arms are done. Way too much overhead stuff. I guess we got AC now, even though it's middle of winter. We are once again running out of light, but I think we might have a solution for that. Got all of our breakers off and everything capped off that's not currently hooked up, with just a few outlets and stuff. Let's get our adapter hooked up. It's kind of cool. First time doing this on the motorhome. I'm just kidding. Okay. Oh. The camera may pick it up a little better, but it is pretty dark. Let's, I believe those two. We go over to our control panel, which you can't even see. I can't see. Interior. You ready? Yeah, that was nice. Okay. I flipped the wrong one. Let's retry this. Interior. Whoa, my goodness. Oh, we got one off here. That's almost too bright. Oh, how cool is that? But we're not done yet. That's awesome. So we had our step light that we used off of the camper, and this will obviously go back into the back of the dinette, but I went ahead and also hooked it up to our grab handle. Let's see if that works. That should be step, bottom light, check that out. How cool is that? Let me turn these off so you can really see it. Oh, that's so cool. And then we should have our exterior light, porch light. That's so cool. And that is obviously, we will be putting an awning on this thing, and then we have awning lights as well. I just think it's so cool being able to light everything up. You don't want to be doing that when you're at a campground or something necessarily. When you're trying to enjoy this thing, I mean, that's crazy. And it's gonna look a lot better once we get all the boards down. That glue has a cure time of 48 hours. We don't want to pull it down. We want to be sure we give it time to go ahead and glue and set, so we don't have to worry about it flopping back down, which it shouldn't anyways. And obviously, we will have 2 more lights on the front, and those are just going to be clicked on. They'll use the battery power on the motorhome bathroom lights, and then we're going to do mood lights all the way around the bottom. So there's a lot of lighting, but the nice thing with this, it's all LEDs. We're not going crazy, and we're using the original system from the camper, so we know we're not overdoing anything. Last thing I want to go ahead and do, now that we have some good lighting, is I'd love to see if our stereo works. We have new wiring ran for the front and rear speakers. We probably won't have time in this video to get those wrapped up. We're trying to button this up tonight. I'm gonna go home and edit into the night, because I know some of you are ready for an update on the motorhome, and I'm ready to release an update. We will actually, within 2 weeks, have another upload, another big upload on this thing, working up front and doing a ton back here in the back, getting that entire bed set up, all the drawers and everything. But for now, radio. We need to add new wires. They cut these things off right at the bottom, which is just silly. But we were able to find one with the part number, like $5 on eBay. Same exact one, and we can wire it in, and we have all our wires for this. Before we do that though, we should see if that AC works. While I'm thinking about it, I'm just looking at it, although we don't need it. Don't really need it, but that's gonna be awesome in the summertime. Obviously, our plan this year is to do as many car shows as we possibly can, and I think this is gonna be a really neat car show runner. And we hope to run out in this thing, maybe drag the 911 or another car along with us or behind us, get to meet a lot of you folks and have a good time this year. I am so excited for this. It's such a good feeling. All that time we spent wiring this thing, and you hear the chopper out there, and finally seeing it light up. Oh, stuff's starting to work. Spent a lot of time, as you can see, zip tying, cleaning up all our wiring and everything that I didn't put on camera, but we did so much of it before. Oh, it's so awesome starting to see this thing come together. Guess it takes a lot of power. Lights are handy when you're doing something like this. Radio's necessary. That's all right. How cool is that? Well, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. I feel like we made some really good progress. I feel like this thing is really starting to come together. Inside, this entire headliner, front to back in, the front rear clamshell's done. We have to button up a couple speakers. The front lights here, that'll make a big difference up there. And then obviously the speakers in the rear. And then we can start putting on walls. We're gonna start working on this bathroom. Like I said in our next video, we're gonna dial in that whole rear area, get all of our shelving and stuff taken care of, our bed taken care of, and because we have some really cool stuff planned for that. And we might even go ahead, work on our dash and get our carpet put in. Giving ourselves a lot of stuff to do, but we want to get this thing done as soon as possible. We really hope you all have enjoyed the progress to this point. If you have, be sure to subscribe button, notification bell to keep up with this rebuild and our future rebuilds and Will It Runs. And if you have been a part of the channel, we do appreciate it so incredibly much. We are getting to bring this piece of history back to life, refreshed because of each and every one of you. So thank you all so much. We're so incredibly excited for this new year. We have so much planned, so much to bring you along with. But that's going to wrap it up. Peace out and catch you all on the flip side.